Peace, family. It's your boy Fonzie. Yes, sir. BoutOnline.com. Floss, what you saying, bro? We hear you. Where you spitting some bars for us?
Oh man, we said spit some bars.
No, it sounded like you was spitting. It sounded like you was spitting a little something.
Oh no. I was just messing with my pad real quick, talking to myself crazy and shit. No, what's goody though? What's good out there to everybody? What's popping?
Okay, yeah. Now we're glad to be back. You know, we definitely want to say shouts out to YouTube and the whole family who be tapped in on the DOA TBM, about that music group, about that online or any of the platforms out there in the West. You know, Floss, Weedland, or the family or the crew. You know, definitely want to shout out everybody. Damn, you sound like you hope you ain't dropping the weed over there.
Oh shit! Wait a minute. I just broke something. Hold on.
We got some slight technical difficulties waiting for Floss to get back connected, but this week we're looking at some of the top stories in hip hop, including the Super Bowl halftime show, which I'm sure a lot of people saw. It was definitely a dope show. Snoop Dogg, Eminem, 50 Cent, Kendrick Lamar, Mary J. Blige, you know, definitely represented and did their thing. Now, the video we can't show on here for purposes, but you can find it on YouTube. And a lot of people have chimed in, including The Game, who has made the implication that he feels as though he should have been included in the halftime show.
You know, he gonna feel like that, man. You know what I'm saying? Because at the same time they was all Dr. Dre's brother. You know what I'm saying, 50 Cent. But you know, I just look at it. You know, game is tight, game is hard. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I think Drake probably just looked at it as like game coming out there, knowing that the affiliation that he has. You know what I'm saying? It might arouse some shit. But 50 Cent, you know what I'm saying? 50 Cent not gang affiliated at all. You know what I'm saying? He's on some street shit, but he's more known to white people. You know what I'm saying? I feel than Game. You know what I mean? Like he's more. They know 50 Cent more on a corporate level. You know what I'm saying? Than they do Game. And at the same time, like I said, like you know, everybody know that JC is from Compton and shit. You know what I'm saying? And they got the power room. You know, it was in Inglewood. They didn't on that. You know what I'm saying? On that aroused on that type of big form. You know what I'm saying? They didn't. You know, they probably thought about it. You know, not like he has more talent than anybody, you know, or whatever. So people don't.
You breaking up. Hold up, man.
That's all it was.
Yeah, you breaking up a bit. I don't know.
I'm breaking up.
Yeah, the audio was chopping.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, it sound clearer than that now. So even you being out there for the West Coast, do you feel as though, you know, the show being presented, obviously in the West, that the Game right in what he's saying that he should have had, you know, some kind of involvement, or the fans are saying that the Game should have been underbilled also?
I mean, you know, I don't know, man. It just looked like, okay, damn, you seen your people up there. Up there. First of all, I want to send a shout out and a big up to Mayor Butts, Inglewood's mayor. You know what I mean? I know, man. I know Mayor Butts, and I actually turned. He used to be the Santa Monica police chief for quite some years. But he came to Inglewood and turned Inglewood all the way around, brought money to the city. Inglewood is back on the map from Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? So I want to say big up to Mayor Butts out of Inglewood, California.
Yeah, so speaking of being back on the map, you know, Snoop Dogg, who was obviously a heavy feature at the halftime show, He's also recently been in the news for his reported acquisition of Death Row Records. Big news. Definitely want to say shouts out to Snoop for that move. It's kind of funny because I've been watching a lot of the stuff he's been doing over the years, like representing the row again, and wearing the chains and the apparel and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So and it was interesting because I was seeing Death Row, the brand being sold in certain places and people having a following for it. And I was like, it's a shame that it wasn't in the hands of, Suge or somebody like that anymore. So it's kind of good that it's in the hands of Snoop, I guess. I mean, what's your thought on that? Snoop, Suge Knight's son has apparently chimed in on it. I'm going to see if I get some information on it.
Mhm. I feel like look how life goes. Look how life turns. You know what I'm saying? I've been saying that Snoop is a living legend. Snoop was the person that knows he's still around. He knows how to reinvent himself and all of that. Look how the world turned. Pocket, buy Death Row. If anybody should have bought Death Row, it should have, because at the time he was there for the whole ride, through the whole shit, bad and the good. But he actually seen how the mistakes of the mishandling of money, uh, just the mistakes of. So he was there, so he knows how to be able to run this label, uh, run the label how it's supposed to be ran. Still big up to Suge Knight, big up to Suge Knight's son. I'm cool with his mother, Stormy. Big up to the homegirl Stormy.
Well, let's let's
Book
let's
came
check this
out.
clip of let's check this clip of Suge Knight's son quickly.
What's my reaction is it's a victory for the West Coast. I'm happy just like everybody else, you know. I kind of knew already beforehand that these things were going to happen. I worked on New Death Row back in 2018, all the way to 2020, and that's why I kind of knew how things were going to take. So this is, to me, it's like a silent victory, because I spoke to all of these executives myself and pitched the ideas to do the merchandising and rebranding, and now to see it fall in the hands of Snoop, it's just, I'm just happy it's coming back to the West Coast. And now that hopefully we can start winning. Because we lost Nipsey, we lost Kobe. I mean, we lost a lot of things. Even after my dad went to jail, we started losing. So hopefully we just start winning with the Rams and start winning now. We ain't punching the air. I seen the comments, like, people thinking like, oh, Suge Knight punching in the air. Like, nah, be cool. You gotta do business right. And let's just start winning. It's like, it's hip hop is like a WWE. So people, it's the fans that create that narrative. You know, it's kind of it's just what it is. So Easy E and my pops is cool. Snoop and my pops is cool. A lot of people are cool in the industry. Yeah, I just people don't understand that. So hopefully, man, I don't pay attention to it, and people will just realize, but we're not punching the air. We all working. So hopefully, we all on the same page.
Yeah, then we see reported on TMZ. Definitely a dope message of solidarity within hip hop. Suge Knight Jr. There, laying it down, represents. It's a big win for the West Coast. Yo, where you at, Flash? You still with us?
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah, so you see that clip with Suge Jr., man, he represented, and it's funny because what he said kind of echoed my sentiments that I had, but he said he was around the situation, so he was able to see it, coming into fruition beforehand.
It's funny. It's funny to see Suge Knight Jr. You know what I'm saying? Because I got a story about him. I remember one time we was in Himalayas, when I was doing Himalayas. We were in the studio, and Stormy, his mom used to come by and shit. She smoked, you know what I'm saying? She smoked weed and shit. She would come by and come get some weed and shit. And I remember when he was young, little Suge, he had a camera. He came over and he had a camera and he kept taking pictures. And I kept turning away from the camera. I was like, your father ain't about to come fuck me up. This was at Suge Knight's height when he was out there strong arming it. And Fresh Prince and motherfuckers out the door. You remember Fresh Prince, when how the father used to throw jazz out the door? That's how Suge used to be. He used to be out there fucking niggas up. And so even though I'm cool with Suge, but I'm like, his son was little. He was like maybe like 11, 10 or 11. You know what I mean? So big up to the homegirl Stormy, his mother. I know Stormy for many, many years. And yeah, man, it's a good thing. Like you said, it's a win-win for the West because, you know, we used to didn't get a lot of acknowledgement. I remember the days we didn't really get too much acknowledgement. Not saying that which niggas was hating. I'm just gonna keep it all the way 100. New York was hating. They didn't want to hear no West Coast shit or nothing like that. To be able to for like people our era, my age, that was around death row, that was around all that shit, you know, to be able to look back like 20 some odd years later and see everybody wearing their memorabilia. I got my memorabilia, the death row memorabilia and shit. You know what I'm saying? So to be able to see that again, it just brings back a whole bunch of memories. I remember the times when Snoop and them Snoop was, dude, like Snoop was the biggest star in the whole world. I don't give a fuck what nobody said. Like, Pac was big. Don't get me wrong. Pac was huge and all that. But it was something about like Snoop Dogg, like white people be like jumping out themselves when they see Snoop. You know what I'm saying? So big up to that brother, to the dog, you know?
It definitely shouts out Snoop Dogg, and like, you know, Suge Knight Jr. was saying, they just got handle business right and correctly and stuff, and you know, do things the right way, whether that's behind the scenes so people know him and Snoop are cool. Sugar and Snoop, you know, there ain't no beef.
But the nigga got his masters back though. That's the dope part of it. He got his masters. You feel me?
I mean, he deserved that, and I think from the merchandising aspect is where Suge should get paid from that kind of aspect. And,
of course.
You know, they put something on his books and stuff like that, and, you know, take care of him.
He should. Of course. That's, you know, but it ain't nothing like being out. You know what I'm saying? Just look how Suge Knight can look at everything. You know what I'm saying? He's in jail. He got TV up in there. He watching the Super Bowl. He knowing damn well he should be out. Maybe he'll learn this time. You know, like I said, man, I don't fault Suge for a lot of shit because in actuality, his tactics were very much needed in the music industry at the time. He just went overboard, but his tactics were needed. You know, you have a motherfucker who, you know, there's nobody that's a DJ playing your records. You know what I'm saying? And they start getting so bougie with it to where, because niggas like Master P, he would take like, you know, the program directors and shit that be at the radio station. He was buying them chains and, you know, diamond chains, taking them out to crustaceans and, you know, Mr. Childs. So, you know, they looking at, you know, a new artist. They like, well, what the fuck you gonna do for me? And so, you know, when Suge came at the time with those tactics, like, okay, oh, you're not gonna play my record? Okay, well, you know, it's hard to DJ with a broken hand. You feel what I'm saying? Like, how you gonna get from here to your car later on when it's time for you to get off from work? Like, that shit needed to be happen. That shit needed to happen because people was being too materialistic. Like, what you gonna do for me to play your record? I thought this shit was about the talent, you know. So he just went overboard. That's all it was, and that money and that ego. But Suge did a lot of good things for people, like, you know, people's mortgages and, you know, during the holidays, he paid for people, you know, paid for people's shit. So, you know, big up to Suge too. Hope he gets out.
Yeah, most definitely, man. And in other hip hop news, you know, after back end of the halftime show, it's been reported that Eminem has, you know, stuck it to the man, so to speak. We check one of these headlines. It says Eminem sticks it to NFL in Super Bowl halftime show. 8 Mile rapper takes a knee. So we're going to check out this report. Let's reject some of that stuff. And it says hip hop has finally headlined the Super Bowl halftime show with Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, Mary J. Blige, Eminem, and Kendrick Lamar came loaded.
All time.
Yep, to represent. And it says, by the time the white boy born, Marshall Mathers took a knee in an unspoken salute to banish quarterback Colin Kaepernick's stance against racism and police violence, it was clear that this was not your granddad's classic rock and roll show and tell. In fact, looks like the NFL just got tackled on its big day by 5 deft icons who decided not to play ball. So we can see this is I won't read too much of it. If you want to check it, the full report out, this is on the deadline. There's a lot of other reports, but the main sentiment of them is they seem to be glowing in support of what Eminem did, taking a knee in the stance. We heard SpiderLoc chime in on his podcast saying he feels it was conflated with him doing it and he also brought up some of his previous tapes, which we're gonna get into at some point. But so he feels as though it was like a lackluster sort of show, and it's been conflated by the media. I mean, do you have any thoughts on it?
Yeah, it'd be lackluster if his ass was on there. That's how I feel. You know what I mean? It's lackluster if that nigga SpiderLoc was on there. But anyway, I feel like Eminem is smart as fuck. He got more response than Kaepernick did when Kaepernick did the knee. You know what I mean? You got to realize, man, that this world is different. And so Eminem realizes that. Now, he hangs out with black people, always have. You know what I'm saying? But he knows that he has power. It's power. But see, before, white America used to see black rappers and rapping, and they see their kids rapping and saying the same shit and rapping and acting like that. They didn't like that shit because why? Because a lot of them was racist. You out there acting like those niggas. But when Eminem came out, oh, now you acting like that Eminem. It's okay now. So Eminem is smart. He knows. Like, who would even think about some shit like that but him to piss everybody off? Let's do something to piss everybody the fuck off. You feel me? When really it's a righteous thing that he's doing. So I don't look at it, he deflated it, because it was already deflated. You don't even really hear about that shit no more. But the fact of he doing it right now, everybody's going to talk about it. They may broaden their horizons and open up their mind to some shit. You know what I'm saying? Because when black people did it, they was like, okay, well, it's disrespect to the NFL. Look how much fucking problems he had to go through when Kaepernick did that shit. Eminem is opening it back up. You know what I'm saying? Because he has power. Because he got the complexion for the connection. That's what.
Yeah. I mean, what do you think of those who have chimed in and said that everybody else should have taken it with him in that case or scenario?
This is something to talk about, man. You know what I'm saying? But look at the big picture of it. Look at the big picture. Let's go back 60 motherfucking years from now. Let's go 60 years back. You feel me? 60 years back. Just 60 years back. You feel me? And you couldn't do half the shit that's going on right now. White men weren't doing that type of shit. And there was probably some good white men that was righteous at those times, doing all those racist times, but they couldn't step up because they endangering their family and their livelihood and their well-being. So I just look at it different. You have a white man at the end of the day that he's no different. Eminem is no different than Frank Sinatra. You know what I'm saying? Frank Sinatra, he wasn't with that shit. You feel me? That's why Sammy Davis Jr. and them was around. He was on first black to be around those type of people. See, it was white people that wasn't with that shit. They was just didn't want to harm and endanger their family. But Eminem got paper. He don't give a fuck, and that's his whole style to piss the world off. You know what I'm saying? Who gives a fuck if they're pissed off? It's something righteous and there's some bullshit going on in the world today, and he knows that. So salute to Eminem. You know what I mean?
Hold up, no doubt, bro. We're gonna get back into. I want to bring up this clip because we just mentioned SpiderLoc. We're gonna play some of his take on it, and then we're gonna get you to chime in and get your thoughts on what SpiderLoc got to say.
And I just gotta keep it a Google. Back in the day when the controversy of that song of him talking about black women, how much he prefers white women over black women, and him expressing the reasons why he preferred, and he's extremely derogatory and hateful toward the original woman. Back in the day, I had only heard a small clip. Did everything I could mentally to justify some type of overlooking it and accepting him as a human, that he cool, that he appreciates us, right? And then in recent years, I heard the little clip again, and I had to reassess it. And I was so disgusted and with the little clip of what I heard that it was no way for me to revert to think that type of mentality can turn into a actual person that can have the opposite. You may become tolerant, which was a word when it came to racism early on. Tolerance was the thing, to be tolerant. You can be tolerant of things and appreciate the benefit that you receive from linking with one of that kind, such as a Dr. Dre, and then whereby paying it forward or securing your image as appreciative by then creating what we would consider a 50 Cent, right? However, we can't get away with it. And recently,
Yeah, so we ain't gonna play the full clip because this is taken from SpiderLoc's podcast. You can find the full, segment on his YouTube. You can see the link there. You can find it on batteronline.com or just search on YouTube. But chiming in from what SpiderLoc was just saying, I mean, what do you think? Do you feel it was he tried to he reaching on this one, or do you think he made some valid points?
I mean, he made some valid points. I don't follow SpiderLoc. What I mean. I just feel like, what if a person changed? What if a person did say something? Imagine just to yourself how much shit that you just said about a certain situation, and then you see that you was wrong. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like everybody has deserve a chance to change. Eminem may have said some shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we ain't never said honky, crack ass, honky. Like, we ain't never said no shit like that. Of course we said it. You just like, they be like, nigga ass, motherfucker, nigga ass, nigga. You feel me? Like, so everybody has that's
yeah. You got to remember
racism, race.
Yeah, you got to remember we're on YouTube, man. You got to slow down with some of those slurs, or they're gonna be banning the videos.
Right? They gonna be. I don't want them to ban the videos.
I know you're not saying it that kind of. Yeah, I know you're not saying it that kind of way.
Yeah, I'm not saying it in that way. I'm just saying like those
some of the terminology words that's already out there for the benefit.
Right. It's not like they not saying it behind our back or saying it. They not saying it behind closed doors. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like everybody should. The racism shit is played out. Actually, in actuality, everything else in the world is getting an upgrade, but I think the world needs an upgrade as far as racism and getting together with the fuck. Like, everybody needs to get together, and then there will be no racism. I don't know, man. I just feel like the West. It was a win for the West yesterday because it was long overdue. We didn't. Our genre of music is making trillions of fucking dollars. It was just due. It was due time.
Well, I mean, hip hop, the biggest genre art form of music right now, definitely speaks volumes on how people from many different nations around the world have adopted its sound and usage in their own form and way. I think it's kind of interesting that definitely as a music, it's one that definitely brings people together and stuff like that, and speaks from a level of even just conversation that most people can understand and get with. So I think that's why hip hop definitely is at that kind of level, and it's big to see it represented on that kind of big stage and in that way. In terms of the Super Bowl, I know you've seen like a lot of halftime shows and stuff over the years. How would you say it rates in comparison up there? Do you think it was one of the illest ones? I know a lot of people say they ain't beating MJ, but I mean, how do you think it holds up? And just seeing it as a hip hop representative.
No disrespect to the genre of rock music and heavy metal and all that type of shit, but when that shit used to come on, I used to turn it off. Just like I'm sure it was some white people they was like, oh, the blacks got it. You know what I'm saying? As soon as that hip hop shit came on, they turned it right off. But I still feel like, of course, I'm a rapper. I loved it. I love the fact to see Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg, and it does bring people together. If you really look at when racism was going on and all that, like the lynchings, the killings, the all this type of stuff, it's just like a real drown, like a downer. You know what I mean? But look at when you have hip hop, motherfuckers on stage performing, everybody having a good time. LeBron James and them was out there popping their collars and doing their thing. It just brings people together. And plus, it makes a whole lot of money. And at the same time, I'm from Inglewood, California. So it brought a lot of money to the city of champs. You know what I mean? Big up to Inglewood. You dig?
Yeah, no doubt, man. So with that being said, we definitely want to shout out to the whole team that put that together. Dr. Dre and his ensemble.
Sure.
It was definitely a huge show. Let us know your thoughts and stuff in the comments, what you thought of it. we're gonna be back with some more hip hop news and updates and some new music and stuff we're gonna break down throughout the time. So everybody stay tuned. You know, you can definitely check us out on BoutThatOnline.com. Any last words you want to say, Floss?
Yeah, be on the lookout for my single coming out pretty soon called Crenshaw. You feel me? Remember I told y'all first. And big up to the homeboy Dame De Niro and all my confiance and all that. You know what I mean? Big up to everybody out there to spread peace instead of negativity and hate and all that. So big up to everybody in their platforms. You know what I mean? Big up to everybody out there.
You know, peace.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.